Welcome to the Jackson Cloud. I'm Jamin.
I'm Casey.
And I'm Olivia.
And today we get into the conversation of Revelation's lampstands. So, when it comes to Revelation and the lampstands, here's our verse. Then I turned to see the voice that was speaking to me. The voice was in, as you'll note here, red letters, right? So whose voice is this?
Jesus.
Thank you, Bible translators. I turned to see the voice that was speaking to me, and that voice said, write what you see in a book and send it to 7 churches. I looked to see the voice that was speaking to me, and on turning I saw 7 golden lampstands. And in the midst of the lampstands...
Hey, look, his voice was like a trumpet.
It was like a
like
trumpet.
trumpet song, lift your
And
voice.
in the midst of the lampstands, one like a son of man. All right. So, 7 golden lampstands. In the midst of the lampstands, one like a son of man. So it's almost, I'm almost thinking, well, who do you think son of man is? Obviously Jesus. We had the red letters, right? So you almost have this focus of like Jesus in the middle, in the midst of it, and then 7 lampstands all around him. Now, do you guys know where lampstands, which is like the lamp, if you will, of Old Testament, sacred Old Testament?
It's like a 7-pointed trident.
Sure. Well, all right, Aquaman. Sure.
But on fire.
Sure, whatever.
It's a
makes you
firebender
happy.
thing. Anyway.
Well, yeah. So you're thinking Hanukkah, right? The menorah, things like that.
Yeah.
So this is got the lamp, and then you got all these branches that go out with fire, which we'd either think candles or we'd think like oil, constantly keeping it.
See, I don't know about the oil part. That wouldn't make any sense to me.
Well,
I've never seen an oil one with 7 lights. Like, it's always been oil with 1 versus not 7. But
we're gonna get into some Zechariah stuff with the lampstand later. I don't want to overly complicate today's lampstand, but then we get into conversations of oil and things like that. So, with this particular one, we have Jesus in the middle, 7 lampstands all around us, and again, if you're unfamiliar with ancient times with just a lampstand in general, and you're unfamiliar with like the meaning behind lampstands, this already sounds like complete gibberish, right?
A little bit, yeah.
And then I saw Jesus. There was lamps everywhere. It's like, just
no, fiery tridents.
yeah, fiery tridents everywhere. So, where are we going with this? In the Old Testament, what was the importance of a lampstand? Do you guys know? Have any idea where it pops up in important places?
Well, I mean, I remember the
temple?
The reason for Hanukkah is the oil lasted for more days than once.
Oh, now oil and lamps can go together.
No, it
Sure.
doesn't. That one still doesn't for me. I still don't understand. Like, if it was one oil lamp, yes, but multiple oil into the 7, I don't get it. But apparently that's a thing, so I'm just referencing the thing.
Okay. Well, yeah, you mentioned the tabernacle. Okay, so the temple, which is the same thing. So we've got like kind of progression of holy space throughout the Old Testament, right? The first temple is the Garden of Eden, where God dwells. The second temple, more or less, is the tabernacle, which is a mobile tent of sorts, where Israel will walk through the wilderness, set it up, bring it down, set it up, bring it down. Ark of the Covenant goes with them, which God is thought to sit upon between the cherubim. So, like, there's sacred furniture inside of the tabernacle.
Slightly off topic, but
I knew you were going to do something.
would they ever get tired? Like, I know they eventually went to a permanent thing, but like, did they go to a permanent thing because they got tired of setting up and tearing down all the time? Like,
No.
Was that ever mentioned? I feel like
I have worked in mobile churches before, so I understand your sentiment here. But one is pre-promised land, right?
Okay,
And the
yeah.
other one is now we're here, so let's set it up. And actually, God never told them to make a temple, if you'll remember. This was David, who was like, he went up to a prophet, he's like, I want to build God a sacred space. Like, I got an awesome castle I live in, and God's got a tent, like it doesn't feel right. Let me build it. And the prophet's like, yeah, sure, do it. Sounds great. Why would God not want that? And then the prophet goes home and God's like, I don't want that. So, well, it's not exactly that he didn't want it. He just told him, hey, go back and tell David, like, all right, fine, I'll let you build it, but you're not going to do it. You're going to have your son do it because you're not in a place. I think it was more or less like it's been so long since I read it, but I think it was like there's blood on your hands.
That's what I remember.
Yeah. So you're not going to do it. Solomon can do it. Solomon wasn't great either, but Solomon builds the temple, right? So this is like the permanent dwelling. And in the first tabernacle, there's a lampstand with the 7 branches. And that is meant to, like, you come into God's presence. All the furniture means something. You come into God's presence. God is, if you will, he's the light to Israel. There's bread there. God is the sustenance to Israel. There's other things present. Like all of the tabernacle is huge in symbolism of who God is. Okay? So in the first tabernacle, the tent one stand, 7 branches. And the big one Solomon builds, everything's just, I was going to say on crack, but that doesn't sound right.
Grandiose.
Thank you. That means better what I meant. In Solomon's temple, it's like it's 10 lampstands, 5 on each side. Okay. But what about the Garden of Eden? That was God's temple. What do you think was, if you think of a lampstand there, what would you think of? Anything?
Wouldn't all the trees be like a lampstand to God?
Well, okay, so this would be what I've heard proposed before that makes sense to me. It's the way that 7-branched lamp kind of looks like is sort of tree-like, right? The way that the branches all come out and things like that.
I mean, kind of. It's more symmetrical than normal trees are, but yeah.
Yeah, but with the high symbolism of the tabernacle, and the tabernacle is supposed to very much mirror Eden. The way that Genesis talks about God creating the earth, they use the same language when it talks about God empowering the builders of the tabernacle with this Holy Spirit to build the tabernacle. So it's supposed to be seen as like a mini Eden. So
Okay.
when you're thinking of like, why is this lampstand here? Why does it kind of look tree-like? The idea is like, think of Eden. God is, in his presence is the tree of life.
But then they light it on fire.
Which you're super into. I don't...
Well, I know, but it's like burning trees.
Casey and things being on fire but not dying. That just sounds like epic Casey. I'd be into that. But yeah, okay. All right, we digress again. Now we're in whose presence in Revelation?
Jesus' presence?
Who is...
God?
Right. And around him, as though we're in the heavenly sacred space, the real tabernacle, of which Hebrews says like everything on earth is just like a shadow of the real thing. Okay. Here we are in Jesus' presence, and around him are 7 lampstands. Now, I hate to spoil this, but
Spoiler alert.
we gotta get a... the Bible has been spoiled for a few thousand years, okay? So, Jesus in the middle, lampstands all around him. Jesus is going to tell us in like another 3 chapters or so. He's going to say the 7 golden lampstands are the 7 churches.
Okay.
So Jesus just said, write to the 7 churches who are, and then and Jesus says, write to 7 churches, and he's standing between 7 lampstands. Then the Bible clarifies, what are the lampstands? They're the churches. Which brings us to the question. We're in the sacred space. Jesus is here in the midst of it. He's got a message to the lampstands. The lampstands are churches. How do you think metaphorically, symbolically, the church fits as a lampstand?
It produces light.
Sure. which means like what? Well, can you think of other verses where the church and light come together or anything like that?
Well, I think kind of like, Jesus is light because he is God and he like has that glowingness about him. Sets him apart from everyone else. Well, we as the church are supposed to be the body of Jesus, so we also should have that.
Yeah, I like that. Arise and shine, right? So you've got this.
Rise and shine.
Oh, I didn't mean to.
And give God the
I didn't mean to
glory,
set off
glory.
your song censor. Yeah. So Jesus is the light, right? Light of the world, if you will. And in God's presence in the Old Testament, there was the true light here in this lampstand. And here's God as Jesus in the New Testament, and in his presence, here's the light, these lampstands. As Olivia said, I'm mansplaining, I get it, but the lampstands are the church. The church is Jesus' body. Therefore, just as Jesus is the light of the world, so the church then becomes the light of the world because they continue to live out who Jesus is, right? So great. I was not headed there yet, but you just like skipped a whole bunch.
Yeah.
Of other times where the church and light come together. Let's see if I can find the verse right away.
I don't remember off the top of my head, and honestly, I'm brain dead today.
You did move a lot of things, from what I understand. Jesus talks about your city on a hill, right?
But how does that make you light?
Yeah, I wish I
Isn't
could.
there a "Don't hide your light under a bushel"?
I think it's actually in the same general statement, yeah.
I remember that song, but I don't remember the melodies of that song right now.
City on a hill verse. What are you laughing about?
I'm pretty sure he purposely is trying to set off my song monitor now.
See, I don't remember it, so I just...
This little light
There you
of
go.
mine,
That's it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let it shine.
Okay, but you're headed there. You are the light of the world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden. Nor do people light a lamp and put it under a basket, but on a stand, and it gives light to all in the house. In the same way, this is Jesus saying this, let your light shine before others so that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father who is in heaven.
But some people do put it under a lampshade now.
But still with the purpose of giving light without burning your eyes. Candles versus 700-watt light bulbs. A little bit of a different scenario. But yeah, like, you know, there was a while back where I was like, it might have even been like the first time I really started paying attention to Revelation. Like, no, the church is the light of the world. No, Jesus is the light of the world. What did Jesus just say here? Let your light shine before... no, he said, you are the light of the world. Jesus actually calls his followers the light of the world.
Mm-hmm.
They're a city on a hill. In other words, like, especially in ancient times, like everywhere is bright. We got street lamps. I'm confusing my old
Street
ancient
lights.
times.
Street
We have
lights.
street lamp stands everywhere. Everything's bright. We can't even see the stars in urban society. It's just too bright, right?
True.
But in
Yeah.
ancient times, like, if it's dark, it's dark. And you can see some light from a distance, but think of a city on a hill. Like, can't really miss that one. It's not covered by any tall grass or trees or anything.
Yeah, that's why Gondor put its beacons on hills.
I hate
so
that analogy works, but yes, you are correct. So, like, Jesus is like, you are a Gondor on a mountain, right?
A Gondor beacon.
Shine and the whole world will...
How did we make a Gondor reference?
I don't know,
For
but-
the post reference.
I think we just made a reference to the new title of this video. You are a Gondor beacon on a mountain. Everything the light touches.
No, that's different.
Oh, yeah, right.
You can't go to Light King on this one.
But if it seems like, whoa.
Oh,
Yeah, I did.
Everything the light touches.
yeah, I got there.
If it feels like, whoa, Jesus is the light of the world, don't you make your church out to be that. No, the Bible actually, Jesus looked at his church and said, "You are the light of the world. Your point is to be so bright that you're like a city on a hill. You're a gondor on a mountain." Everybody noticed that. They see it. Michael Heiser talks about, like, if we were to see the world from a spiritual landscape, everything would be pitch black except for these Christians walking around. You'd see light in those spots, as though like we're illuminating the spiritual darkness of the world and bringing heaven in, type thing.
So I'm imagining that right now with like night vision, and it's really weird.
Nor do people light a lamp and put it under a basket, right? Little light of mine, no one's gonna put it out. I'm gonna let it shine, right? Because that's the point. The point is to be bright. The point is to get people's attention. How do you get people's attention? Because the light itself, in Jesus' statement here, also has its own symbolism as Christians doing certain things. They may see your good works. Give glory to your Father in heaven. Let your light shine before others so that they may see your good works. So light and good works actually belong together in some way. A lot of Christians don't love that, because then it gets into this like, whoa, I'm not earning, I just am light. It's like, okay, Jesus understood, like, if you're going to shine brightly and the world's going to take note of you, good works belong in what you're doing. I've seen plenty of Christians who don't shine. Okay? In fact, I've seen plenty of Christians, and we've heard plenty of stories where the church has brought darkness into the world through negative actions. And there's some humility there, because we've all done it, because we're all human, right? I'm not here to like cancel culture things. Like, we've all messed up and permeated darkness at times. But the church sometimes is a representative of itself has just been darkness, like out screaming at people and trying to like destroy people's lives and condemn them to hell and things like that. It's like, that's not good works. You're not showing people who Jesus is. You're not leading them towards something better and greater and shining before them. You're just making them have more reason to not like us. So, all this being said, Jesus is about to write to the 7 lampstands, to the 7 churches, and about to give them instructions as to how each lampstand, each church, needs to bring some conviction into its life to be light. Because as it ends up, the 7 churches that he's about to write to, not all of them have it together. I like to call that section of Revelation Jesus' Yelp reviews. Because he's got a lot to say to the churches about, tried the food, wasn't great, 5 out of 10. We'll get to there later. There's a few churches that really have it together, but then there's some other ones where it's like, yo, cut that crap out. What you doing? So like, even in Jesus' statement to the lampstands, it's partially like, good works, let it shine before others. The way you live, let it shine before others. You are my body. I'm the ultimate light, as Revelation will eventually get to, when God comes and lives on the planet in fullness at the end. It's just light. There's no more night, right? Because God is the light of the world. But in the meantime, Revelation doesn't paint us as small. It actually lifts us up quite a deal. Say, you are God's representation in this world, so go and shine. All right, any final thoughts there? You are a gondor on a mountain. Set your wood on fire so the world can watch you burn.
When the beacons are lit, the world calls for your aid.
And Gandalf will come. Eventually. Hang on, we're still working on this. Go defeat a Balrog. They're fake light.
I don't got any more about.
So with that, what analogies to the Lord of the Rings world did we miss?
Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below.
And see if you can beat me to the first comment on the video.
Or join us on the Discord.
And we will see you there.
little light of mine.
Oh.
I'm gonna let it shine.
Well,
This
it's
little
theologically
light
appropriate
of
today.
mine.
All right, continue.
Let it shine.
Oh, you forgot
let
the
it
rest.
Shine,
You
let
forgot
it
the rest.
shine.